Hey everyone, LittleMoeGaming here. Welcome back to this week's episode of LittleMoeGaming at Lunch. Happy Friday. Hope everyone's been having a great week. It was a little shorter week, 4-day week if you were off on Labor Day. And it actually kind of felt like it, which is great. I love when the short weeks actually feel short. Sometimes they feel a little longer than they should. But of course, it just depends on what you're doing. And for me, I think it's just work. Work really made the week go by pretty quick. And boy, do I feel it, man. I'm tired. I am really tired. So forgive me if my voice sounds tired here in this video. But I'm doing well. I have been playing some pretty fun games lately. And I hope you've been playing some fun games. If you're currently gaming, or maybe you're not gaming, maybe you're taking a break. Hey, that's pretty good. It's always good to take a break. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the topic for today. And it's going to be a short and sweet video, probably no more than 10, maybe 12 minutes. We'll see where it goes. Maybe my thoughts take me elsewhere. Tends to happen. So. But the big topic I want to talk about is the latest rumor about the PlayStation 6. And I say rumor because that's all it really is right now. I don't think there's any concrete evidence that this is true, but reportedly, from the sources that I heard it from, there was a YouTuber who goes by, I think he goes by Moore's Law is Dead or something like that. And apparently he has a track record of being accurate with his rumors and leaks and information and things like that. So I don't know how that stuff goes. Maybe he knows someone that works in those industries or in those areas, and they leak some info to him and he just makes videos about it. I don't know if that's what he does, but anyways, this YouTuber claims that the PS6 is going to have a traditional console release, just like the PlayStation 5 did, where we're going to get like the big console that's going to be the next gen hardware. But what's even bigger news than that is that they're doing a portable version, almost akin to the Nintendo Switch. So it's going to be like a PlayStation 6 handheld that can dock to your TV and then be played portably as well. And I have a lot to say about this. Now, I didn't really dig too deep into it. I watched a couple of videos talk about it, and it seems like the possibility of this happening, I mean, again, it's just a big rumor right now, but what they're saying is that the person who said this has a track record for being correct. And we know that Sony has been working on a handheld console, and it seems to be all the rage these days, right? I mean, of course, the Nintendo Switch being as influential as it has been on the industry with PC handhelds like Steam Deck and ROG Ally. Now we have the Xbox ROG Ally, which is Xbox's answer to the Nintendo Switch. Feel how you feel about that. It's not exactly a first-party handheld from Xbox like we thought they were going to do. It's a collaboration with Asus and the ROG Ally. And I believe that the Xbox handheld does play native games from PC software, right? Like from Steam and all the other PC software. But then console exclusive games to Xbox are not natively played. I think those are streamed. That's what I had heard most recently about it. But the reports are, right, that Sony has been working on a handheld as well. And with this latest reporting, what it's saying is that they're going to do a PlayStation 6 console and then a PlayStation 6 handheld that will perform in parity with the PlayStation 6. So I don't know what that means exactly, because we've seen this before, right? So the Xbox Series S with the Series X, those are considered Xbox's current gen consoles, and the Series S is notorious for being the weaker of the two, and it hasn't really been able to keep up. And I remember it was being touted as a Game Pass machine, and that's about it. You know, like you could buy it for like $200 or $300 or however much it was, get Game Pass on it, and it's a great Game Pass machine. And I think that that is true. I think the Series S is a great machine to play, you know, maybe the not so graphically intensive games, right? But we've seen that before, and it's not something that's been good for Xbox. I don't think, like the Series S and X thing wasn't. I would argue that it wasn't a big success, but I don't know the numbers. I could be wrong, but we have seen something like this before. Now, would PlayStation make the difference in power significant? I think that that's kind of a possibility, considering that, you know, the handheld version is supposed to be a handheld, right? And, you know, like, I can't imagine that a handheld PlayStation 6 is going to perform on the same level as the actual PlayStation 6. But how much of a power difference is it going to be? Like, are we talking, you know, is the handheld going to be like as powerful as a base PS5? Is it going to be as strong as a PS5 Pro? Or maybe somewhere in between a base PS5 and a PS6? I don't know. It's too early to tell like what we can expect. But what I think is really interesting here is, you know, as much as we want, like me personally, right? Like I want the PlayStation handheld to be like as powerful as the PlayStation 6 console itself, but I know that that's not realistic, and I think that that's okay, because let's put it this way, right? Let's say that the PlayStation 6 console comes out and it's this big next gen upgrade in power and all that, and it can do all this stuff, 8K, all this stuff, crazy stuff, and looks incredible, right? And it's the best place to play if you want the most updated console graphics. And then they release this handheld alongside it that maybe performs at the power of a base PS5, or somewhere from a base PS5 to a PS5 Pro, right? I don't know if that's even possible. I mean, the PS5 Pro is pretty powerful, right? Like, let's not talk about it like it's an old console. It's still the most powerful console on the market right now, and it's pretty dang powerful. It's hard for me to believe that in just 2 years' time or 3 years' time, or whenever these consoles would release, that they would be able to take the power of a PS5 Pro and put it in something as big as like a Steam Deck, or like even as big as like a Nintendo Switch 2. Yeah, I just don't think that that is something realistic, because if it was, you know, then maybe the Nintendo Switch 2 would be a lot more powerful. And we've seen that the Nintendo Switch 2, though it is powerful and it's really great for Nintendo's games, I mean, I've seen reports on how Elden Ring performs, and apparently it's not that good. So there's definitely a big difference there. And what's really fascinating to me, though, is the idea that, let's say that the PS6 handheld is as powerful as a base PS5, right? I think it's safe to say that whatever games release for the PlayStation 6 will probably be playable on PlayStation 5. And I think it's very evident in the fact that right now we're kind of in this place where graphics, they kind of have a diminishing returns. Because like me, I grew up in the PlayStation 2 era and the PlayStation 1, but I didn't have a PlayStation 1. I had a PlayStation 2. So we'll talk about the PlayStation 2. And I remember how games looked on there, and I remember thinking as a kid, like, wow, the graphics on here are amazing. And then, of course, we got to the 360 PS3 era, and graphics got even more amazing. And then the jump from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4 was like, wow, next gen, look at these graphics. They're realistic, photorealistic. You know, games like Metal Gear Solid 5, The Order 1886, GTA 5 and the way it looked on the next gen consoles with the definitive edition, and all these games that got remasters, like you look at The Last of Us and how it looks on PlayStation 4, and then PlayStation 4 Pro, Red Dead Redemption 2, and so on. I mean, we got The Witcher 3, right? Like, look at The Witcher 3. Like, there was a time where The Witcher 3 was considered like the best graphics right now. Like, it was like if The Witcher 3 could perform on your PC, then your PC was a beast, right? And games like Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight was a PS4 game, and it looks like a modern game. And there's plenty of examples of games that came out on PS4 that look like modern games, or what you would expect to come out on a PS5. And what that's really telling of is the diminishing returns in the graphics fidelity and the increase in graphics is that it's not dramatically increasing as we go from like PS4 to PS5 to PS6, as far as we can tell right now. Now, don't get me wrong, there's definitely some games on PS5 that look absolutely out of this world. I mean, Death Stranding 2, I don't know what they did to get that game to play the way it does and to look the way it does. The optimization is absolutely insane, but sometimes the characters in that game look uncanny to their real life counterparts, like just straight up. And Horizon series looks great. Trying to think of some other examples here. GTA 6 is supposed to come out this generation, and that looks absolutely incredible. So there are definitely examples of graphics and fidelity that we've been able to hit in this console generation that you couldn't really reach in the last one. But it's not as dramatic of an increase or a difference as it was from, say, the PS3 to the PS4 or the PS2 to the PS3. This is the first time where we're starting to get that diminishing returns, and we're starting to see, that at this point, it's just about, what more can we squeeze out of this console? And if it gets to the point where developers maybe start to focus more on optimization and, how games play rather than how they look, then it might be that, we just start getting like, and maybe we start focusing more, on like unique gameplay, right? And things like that. Then we might start getting games on the PlayStation 6 that release for PlayStation 6 that will perform just fine on a base PS5. And yeah, they probably will have the best performance and the best graphics and the best possible outcome on an actual PS6, but on this handheld, it will play perfectly fine, and you get the handheld experience. And I think that that's a really cool idea to think about, the possibility of that. So I don't know. I mean, we're really in a situation right now that we haven't seen before, or at least, it's a little different. I think handheld is really kind of the next big thing, and maybe it has to do with the over digitalization of games, right? Like, yeah, we're still getting physical copies, but I mean, you look at Nintendo with their Switch key cards and the whole discourse on that, and how they're moving towards that because they just don't offer many options to developers to put their games on an actual cartridge. And so developers naturally are going to go the cheaper route, take the key card, and call it a day. PlayStation's been doing it for years, where you get games that are not all on the disc, and you got to download all this data to get the full version of the game, or to even be able to play it. I still think there are plenty of companies that are doing the best they can to fit the games on the disc, like for PlayStation. That's why I like to collect a lot of my games on PS5. But we are going into a more digital kind of age now, which is unfortunate in my opinion, because I do enjoy the physical aspect of it. But going into a more digital age, handhelds are going to be the next big thing. And they already kind of have. I mean, the Nintendo Switch itself came and it bridged the gap between a console and a handheld in a way we've never seen before. And it really paved the way for things like the Steam Deck and the other PC handhelds, this Xbox handheld that we're getting, and the inevitable PlayStation handheld that we're going to get. With it being PlayStation and their track record with handhelds, like with the PS Vita and the PSP, I'm hoping that maybe their handheld will be akin to the Nintendo Switch in the sense that it offers a unique experience that you can't get anywhere else. I don't really want like the PlayStation handheld to be like the Xbox handheld, where it's just a collaboration with a PC handheld. Like what I want is a proprietary PlayStation portable, not necessarily a PSP, right? Like it doesn't have to be the PSP 3 or the PSP 2 or whatever, but like a portable PlayStation that can play the modern PlayStation games, but also be a great place to experience, the backlog. You can play, because there's tons of games on my backlog from the PlayStation 4 era, from the PS3 era, even from PS5 that I would love to play on like a handheld PlayStation. I've been playing, just to give you an example, lately I've been playing a lot of Octopath Traveler on my Switch, getting close to finishing that game, by the way. But sometimes I itch to pick up like my PlayStation Portal and play a game from my PlayStation on the couch in this handheld while my wife watches TV. And though I can do that on the Portal technically, right, it's just streaming the game. So like, I don't want to play a game like Death Stranding 2 on a PlayStation Portal. I'll play like a racing game or like something small, like a shoot 'em up, like R-Type or something. Like I'll play that on the Portal. I'll play like like something that's just like a quick jump in and play kind of game. Maybe even like a JRPG, something like Dragon Quest. Like I would play that on the PlayStation Portal. But a game like Death Stranding 2, I can't play that on the Portal. And what I would want from a PS6 handheld is the ability to be able to choose to play a game like Death Stranding 2 on there and not have to give up too much of that graphical fidelity. Because at the end of the day, like, a game like Death Stranding 2, you're paying upwards of $70 for this game. And it offers an incredible graphics experience that you just don't get elsewhere. So why would I want to sacrifice that and not get that experience, right? Like I'll play it on my TV when I get a chance and take it all in and enjoy it the way it should be. So I'm hoping that if they do a PS6 handheld, that it's going to be powerful enough to really be able to provide that experience and not really have to sacrifice too much. But time will tell, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it off there because I have not started to head home. I just left work and it's 6:15 now, and I have about a 45-minute to an hour drive ahead of me. So anyways, hey, this was a LittleMoeGaming at lunch. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I dropped a video today, Thursday, or yesterday, Thursday, right? For you, it's Friday. I dropped my latest LittleMo Games that I bought episode 3. It's a fun one. I had a lot of fun making it. Definitely check it out if you haven't. And, of course, let me know in the comments below, what do you feel about this potential PlayStation 6 handheld? And as always, take care.